Crazy camp life, votes, and tribals. The life of a survivor is more than you see on TV. So if you need the scoop on island survival, crack a coconut, put on some rice, and let's spill the immunity. Hey everybody, welcome to Spill the Immunity. I am one of the co-hosts here. I am Bree. I've got Trent with us today. Welcome back, Trent. Glad you're feeling better. And Alex is here and Gina is here. I'm so excited. Hi everybody.
Hey.
How are we doing?
Hey. Good.
Oh, good.
Doing well.
What do we think?
What a great episode.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was great. I thought maybe best episode of the season so far. I don't know. Bree maybe feels a little different, but.
Well, you know,
I think this one's been the spiciest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. A lot of backstabbing, a lot of sneakiness. So that always makes a good episode.
Well, it's kind of continued to be the Emily show. You know, it's kind of a little bit of the Sabaya show. I think, you know, if spoiler here, you know, she got voted off. So they kind of gave her swan song. We talked last week that she was kind of aggressive and maybe not forgiving and holding a grudge. In this episode, I mean, complete change, complete 180. Yeah. So forgiving, so understanding, so nice, you know, brings Emily right in. And then Emily just cuts her head off. I mean, it was pretty interesting episode, I thought. And like I said, I was liking Sabaya. I was like, wow, what a nice person. And she could go really far in this game and showed some aspects that she didn't show in other, you know, episodes. But I guess it was just Survivor editing, like I said, her swan song.
It was definitely Survivor editing. I was surprised to see her try to turn on Caleb so early. And I just feel like everyone is trying to play so hard. And actually, I was thinking about something Sari had said about her Survivor gameplay this season on Big Brother, which she said her downfall has always been letting someone stay in the game too long that she should have gotten rid of. And you saw it with Sabaya and Emily, because Emily is the one who ultimately was her undoing. And she knew it too, but she just didn't have the support at the time to get rid of her. And there were bigger fish to fry, like Brandon. And yeah, I thought very interesting, like, point from Sari that was making me look at last night's episode. Like, yeah, she definitely made the mistake of keeping Emily.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, I will say this the whole time. Emily is trying and she is doing well. I don't buy it. I'm not gonna, nope. Not gonna happen. I think we're gonna see her true colors. I think the only thing that she learned from that so far is how to play the game better and how to play the person that they want her to be than who she really is. And who she really is will come out again and we'll see it. And so they are getting lulled into Emily's changed. Nobody, listen, I can't even stop eating Reese's. And like, I can't make that quick change in myself. This is the core of who she is. And it's not going to be like, you know what? I think I'm going to be a completely different person all of a sudden.
Right.
It doesn't happen. Life is not like that. And so she can put on this facade and pretend, but we're going to see the real Emily come out. I think she's playing the game. I think it's all part of it. I'm not buying it. I can't.
You saw that right when they got back from tribal council, you know, because she immediately was like drilling into Sabaya, like, wait, you didn't vote. And I was like cracking up. And then Caleb's like, the one person you're not supposed to start something with. Yeah. You start it with right when you get back. I mean, she really can't help herself with it. So
no,
she forgot. Oh God, I was supposed to be nice. Shoot.
Right.
Yeah. Oops.
Right. Supposed to be social. I'm supposed to not have antisocial tendencies.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm not buying that. Trent, what do you think? Because do you believe her? Do you think she's changed?
No, there's no way to change that quickly. But, you know, I think she almost had a redeeming factor in the reward challenge, because she did fall and get back up. And then it seemed like the team was going to go into the immunity challenge with like an upper hand, but they seemed to like lose it. They lost the momentum.
Yeah, Brandon was there. He definitely would have not been able to make it through that obstacle.
Oh, that would have been terrible.
A reward challenge. I was like, it's probably good they voted him off.
He's been poking fun at himself though on social media, so at least he has a good sense of humor about it, and he knows.
Yeah.
Through the ropes and catching the ball would have been an adventure,
to say the least. Yeah, I mean, the thing with the reward challenge, I was really happy for Lulu, right? I really wanted them to win something, and it was I thought that like the whole dynamic of sending Caleb as to go on the raid, right? I love the camp raids. I think it's such a fun time
It is.
where you can go in and really decimate somebody, or I think Caleb did what. First of all, they don't have anything, so it's hard to take something. I mean, the only thing they really have was fishing gear anyway. So, it is what it is. But I thought, how great of him to like talk to it was, because listen, if I was at camp and this dude walked up from another camp and he's like, I want to talk to you all individually, you know what I would have said? Hell no, you're not.
Yeah, no. I
That's
know.
not
They
gonna
all did
happen.
it. They all did it. We
It's
saw
like,
what a good salesman he is too. I mean, you really
yeah.
saw it, because I feel like a lot of people try, obviously there's a lot of people who work in sales and they try to be great salespeople, but you're being sold to. And I feel like with Caleb, it's like they did know, and yet they did,
He's
enjoy talking to him.
adorable.
They were laughing. Yeah, he's a great salesman. One of the best I've seen. I was like, okay, this guy knows how to work a crowd and get information out of people. I can't believe everybody went one-on-one with him though. What are they doing?
But I think he's kind of like Emily in the fact that he can't help himself
He
from
can't.
wanting to be liked so
Yes,
much. And
that's a
that's
good
like
point.
you saw it in his downfall. Like he just wants to be liked by everybody so much he can't ever maybe step into like, I don't know, the villain spot, or just, I don't need to be the center of, everything.
The team
right?
captain, the one
Yeah, the team.
rallying everybody. Yeah, the guy with the
So
plan.
positive.
You're
perfect.
right.
He's like turning into like a perfect, he's too good, right? Big target.
Yeah.
So
That's a good point.
Yeah, he definitely
Yeah, there's a huge contrast because he did end up giving goodwill to Drew, but we saw Drew attempt to lie. We didn't I didn't expect him to go that direction because he already was like so truthful with all the idols that he's gotten so far. So like, I think, well, Austin was definitely forced into telling D and Julie about it because they got caught. But they get caught in a lie. So is that going to come back to haunt Drew in the future?
Yes, I
because
think
he
so.
tried to lie?
It was so funny how
Yeah.
he's like, it requires an entrepreneurship. It requires 2 seconds later, he gets caught with his back to them. It's so like the editing of it made me laugh so much, like hyping it up and then just literally getting caught 2 seconds later. I was like, no, what are you doing?
The other thing that
So that
really
dark side of Caleb.
Oh,
I was going to say
yeah.
that dark side of Caleb, when is that going to come out? Because then they're going to be like, okay, now Drew and Caleb have to be pitted against each other, even though they have that, bond right now over that. And Caleb doesn't know he gave it away.
No.
That's going to come back to haunt him.
Well, and the thing of it is too is that like so with Drew, when he got caught digging, right? And then he like, first of all, just walks away. Like nobody did they see me? What's going on? Right? But then he comes back, and this was the most telling thing. Did you see Drew's face when he was like when they were talking to the girls? And he was just like, his face was bright red.
And he was like this.
all like, oh.
Mouth
Right?
open, looking like he's pooping his pants out there, like no poker face whatsoever. I was
None.
like, what? His face was
Yeah.
everything. And I mean, obviously he wasn't fooling the girls at all for a
Well,
second.
no, and he won't fool anyone if that's how he acts.
Yeah, those two boys are no match for those two girls. They're
No,
just
look how
way
they
over
got
there.
Jay Maya
Yeah.
to like, they were so quick. And I know Dee was saying, right, like, oh, I looked at, Julian, we just immediately were like, we got to put on our acting faces. The women were like, we got this.
Yep.
It was great though. Yeah,
I
Drew's
think
face was everything.
Drew's really feeling the elements. Like when he was talking to them and he was caught, his glasses were all askew, and he just looks like he's. I mean, if you think of like the archetypal person who's not supposed to be out there, it's Drew. You know what I mean? So I think he's really kind of feeling. So I think in his normal life he's probably much quicker, but I think in here he's just his faculties are completely diminished.
Austin in his confessional was like, I saw it happening, but I didn't want to jump in and say anything. He's like, I was just messing around. I was supposed to be the lookout. Where were you? Where were you
Yeah,
looking
what were
at?
you doing?
Lookout
What
are
were you
you?
looking at? Oh my goodness.
He found a mirror and he was checking. He was like a
Yeah,
gun
he found
show.
his
I don't
reflection.
know.
And then this is the new change they made too. These new types of idols, right? That you delay, you don't vote, right, for one tribal, and then it's good to the merge. And then if you don't use it a second time, then it's good till final 5.
That's big.
Right. And that's what kind of, ruined Sabai in the end, was that
Yeah.
this choice. And, and that's an interesting thing, right? To give up your vote. I wonder though, can you use that with the other goodwill advantage, right? Because the
I
goodwill
thought
gives you
that
your vote
too.
back.
Yes. Stack them.
Right.
Yep.
And then
How
what's
many
Jeff gonna
people
do?
are
Like,
going to get voted
actually
out
read
with
right.
How many people are going to get voted out with idols on their bodies? Like, what are you doing? It's like
That's
the
another
oldest
thing,
tale
yeah.
in all of Survivor. You have your idol, and it's like you just feel so comfortable, and it's like, and that's when you get voted out. You've got the idol, and it was like a whole production. It was like all of Tribal Council was about her with this idol, and I'm like, you don't think maybe there's a chance they might write your name down? I guess when you're out there, it's a different story, but it's just like I feel like it's happened so many times in Survivor.
Well, you said that
Yeah.
last week, Bree. You talked about why doesn't she bring the idol to immunity and throw it in the fire? And then that's exactly what she did. So that was very
Yeah.
perceptive of you.
I think Nina actually might have been the one that that said that actually
Oh.
last week. I can't remember. But I thought that bringing it to tribal council was a smart play. I loved her whole production with it. I loved the way Jeff just was like, all right, let's go. Obviously it was cool with him, and it was smart. We got to see her like talk about, all right, well, if they're going to vote for Caleb, then they don't need my vote. And then it's better for me to save this so that because if I don't use it, it's dead tonight anyway, right? It's not gonna. So that made sense. Like I got her rationale for doing it. And she thought, like, she knew Sean was solid. She thought for sure that Emily was solid. But I think that she should have seen the connection that Emily and Caleb had. I think if she was a little more perceptive, she would have seen that and thought, that was her misstep, was like underestimating what was like the relationship between Emily and Caleb, because I think it was pretty obvious to everyone how, like, I don't think it was like a sneaky on the side all the time. It was just at camp that we could see Caleb being like, yeah, come on, Emily, and like really trying to give her a chance. And he probably talked to Sabaya about that. Like, we got to give her a chance, or let's try to see if we can work with her. So I don't know. I think she should have been a little perceptive on that. I think that was her downfall. But I totally get the fact that she was like thinking, I don't need to have my vote in there, and I'm going to save this because it's going to last us till merge. And if I don't vote again, then it'll help us. Whoever my core, as we move forward, especially when there's like a tribe swap or something, and we knew that was coming. They had to know when a tribe gets decimated that there's going to be a tribe swap and things are going to get shaken up, and so whoever has that. But good on Caleb for like making those like getting to know the other tribe and like saying, if we do a tribe swap, hey, you got us on your side, kind of a thing. You can count on us. That was good planning ahead, seeing a few steps forward. I wanted to talk a minute about, before we get into Jeff's performance, because I definitely want to do that. Hey, Lee's in the comments. He's stopping in. How you doing, Lee? Good to see you, Coach. Love having you here. I wanted to talk a little bit about the challenge, the immunity challenge, because what did Emily do? Like, I know that she ran through the thing and she did the stuff, but when it came time for that puzzle, that big, huge puzzle, did you even what did she do? She just stood there. Like, I was watching the other ones, like telling them what to do. And Emily just kind of was like, uh, uh, and I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, saying to everyone, "Come on, guys, you got to hurry." It's like, I did what? This is
You're
not
supposed to help us. You're supposed
helpful
to
at
see
all.
the big picture.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I agree. It was definitely a letdown. And then Bruce was getting all sassy too of everyone being in the way.
Yeah.
I mean, Lulu just in the middle, like completely froze and pooped the bed during that puzzle.
Hey, Trevor, thanks for stopping in. Trevor's stopping in from Numerous Perspectives, a company
Nice.
that I helped him found, which was a lot of fun. Yeah, I guess because of the level of intelligence from Emily that she's always put out there, that I expected her to be able to um articulate her like what should be done next, and it would be a good position for her to do that. And I wasn't getting like she just didn't she let me down a lot in that instance. And I went, okay, not this is not you're not a leader in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Well, it's
She was
interesting too.
she threw him under the bus, and I think maybe intentionally, because you see how she's playing the game, and she has a clairvoyance, or like an insight into things that she doesn't know about. So she probably had already calculated that if they do lose, that it would be to her benefit, and it wouldn't be to her detriment, because Sean's not going to really vote her because she's also on the weaker side as far as strength goes. So he's going to want to vote against strength. And then if you think about Caleb has already made a friendship with Emily. So she probably just thought, if anything, it's one of four.
Mm-hmm.
So then why not just screw over my team, let them lose, and then take it on the head if it happens in tribal council. So I just think she's a snake, to be honest. That's her thing, and she doesn't want to admit it.
Yeah.
Well, talking about the strength thing, I mean, there's really not a lot of physical players on the season. I mean, you have Austin, who might be the most fit, but then like Bruce and Jake, I mean, they're like the biggest guys out there, and they're not even big. I mean, Bruce ain't big, and Jake, we could talk about Jake passing out, having like a little mini seizure in the fire, which was interesting.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like the elements really seem to be wearing on people. You didn't really see people have, passing out, with no smoke inhalation or anything. Just so I don't know why
Just
everyone's
Jake,
feeling it
right?
so much. Yeah, just Jake. I mean, this season you've had other people get lightheaded and fall over and stuff at challenges, but not just kind of sitting at camp,
I know,
But
and they
Bello
tried
didn't
to
get
trick
very
us.
much screen time this week, right?
No,
Who
not
did?
at all. Bello?
Bello didn't get very much screen time. So I think the key highlights that came out of that was Jake, and then now the feud between Kendra and Bruce. Like Kendra and Bruce are definitely at odds. Kendra's much more vocal about it, and Bruce, we haven't heard anything like of his reactions or how he's. Maybe there's something that didn't happen off camera, but that we don't know about, because that's why he's talking so much mess and being so aggressive with everybody, is because nobody likes him. Maybe that's the issue.
Well, I don't know, because like Kat was talking about how like every time she had the chance, she was going to like push that narrative of Bruce is the threat. We need to get rid of him. And any opening that she could get, she would do that. And I thought that was smart of her, without like waiting for them to say something, but then reinforcing it and pushing that thought pattern through. So that was really smart on. I think Kat will go farther as long as it doesn't become too overt, because I think then someone will be like, Bruce, she's really gunning for you, right? And so that could flip the script on her a little bit. But I did like the Jake and Kendra connection.
Yeah.
I thought that was good, that she was like giving him a chance and they were getting to know each other a little better. I think Jake he showed a little bit this week that he's a little bit more dangerous of a player, that he's not all smiles and rainbows and sunshine. I think he's got a little devious side to him. Because he was kind of like, he had that like laugh at the end that was like maybe a preview or something, when he was like, I'm gonna, show them or something. Can we talk for a sec about Kendra at the challenge? With like when it was I think it was the reward challenge. She was like tossing rings and trying to, like, everything she was doing was not working. And they went home with nothing at that challenge. They lost it completely. And she was probably very responsible for that.
So is there a record of that? Because I'm only thinking of immunity challenges right now. It's 2-1, right? 2 Reba, 1 Bello. On the rewards challenges, what's the ranking on that one? Is it the opposite? 2 Bello, 1 Reba, as far as the score goes? Because I know Lulu has 1. Actually, I guess Lulu has 1, so it's 1-1-1 across the board on rewards challenges.
I think so.
That
Yeah.
sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
2-1 for 2 for Reba, 1 for Bello on the immunity challenges. So Bello has to come back. If they want that screen time next week, they have to win
Yeah.
again, because it's either the winners or the losers get the most screen time. The person in the middle, they just disappeared. Like, it's their story doesn't really impact the actual show, that episode at least. So we lose out on what happened with Bruce. What did he do wrong? What was it that that made everybody? Obviously, has historically, he's been on the show before. We already seen like him bust his head open, all these different things. But yeah, I'm really anticipating when that confrontation really bubbles up, and see like, okay, how much do people really not like Bruce? Because they're gonna, and then how does he maneuver it? Because he could be able to be like, you don't like this person and you don't like this person, let's team up, let's put these two people against each other. So that's gonna be fun to see.
Well, a secret alliance on Bello that I think is pretty under wraps is Kelly and Brando, right? And we all like Brando. I think he might be a little bit young and naive. I think he's a really smart guy, but I think Kelly, pretty sharp. She's 29, definitely have some life experience. Teaming up with somebody like Brando, I think, is good. I think it's unexpected. And she's tight with Kendra and she's tight with the other girl, but she's also, tight with the guys too, right? She was saying in the first episode, oh, I'm tight with the guys and I'm tight with the girls. So Kelly is kind of, I think, a low-key player, but I think she's making the right moves, right? And making the right friendship. I mean, pretty low-key game too, which is important, I think.
Kelly and Brando are both the youngest players on the season, right? Together.
No, Kelly's 29, but maybe she is.
I thought they were the two youngest players. And that being like that, they have a different perspective maybe on social dynamics. And so like the older folks are probably thinking like, survival, whereas the younger kids are probably thinking like, what larger risks can I take? Because they got to stick around because they're not the strongest. Brando's probably the weakest, if not Sean or Brando. One of those two are the weakest as far as the long game goes. Drew's the third probably weakest because his height is too high. He's too tall for most of the challenges.
Lanky.
Yeah, too lanky. That's why Bello's doing so good is because they're all about the same height. They're all about the same physique. Like, they're getting through these challenges pretty fast. Reba just showed up. And then maybe it's, I call Drew the Giraffe. Drew the Giraffe is probably able to duck in and get wherever he can go because he's tall. That dude's tall. And that's going to hold him back as the challengers get more difficult along the way.
Well, can you guys unpack for me, why did they, when Drew and Austin got caught searching for the idol, they immediately blamed it on Sifu? I know he's kind of on the outs because he's kind of just like an eccentric kind of, and he did his guitar solo, which I was just like,
dude, I've been watching his social media. He can play. He can play.
Oh,
Go follow him over on
funny.
Instagram because he's posted a lot of his like jam sessions and like just music and things that with his band and with other things. Yeah, he's actually a really cool player. Which I was like, oh, see, there we get to see it on Survivor as well. But yeah, I don't know.
He's kind of like Bruce in the way he's just a little bit too verbose. He's just a little bit too out there. Everyone's dehydrated and tired. They don't want to hear a fake guitar riff, right? I don't want to hear a guitar riff regularly. Definitely not a fake one. But why did they pin it on Sifu? Is it just like, did he ever have a clue or an idol, or were they just? I
guess it seemed like the most
plan.
Yeah, the most obvious. Yeah. Like since everybody saw him searching, I guess it was the easiest to sell, and people would be like, right, he was looking for it, so now you're looking for it, even though it wasn't the best cover, but maybe in that moment it was their best hope for trying to convince people it wasn't them with a beware or anything like that.
Yeah. No, you're right. In the first episode, he was looking.
He was in the bushes.
Yeah.
It was
I
an
see where it was now.
absolutely
Yeah.
great lie. Like, that was, like,
Yeah.
spot on, the right thing to say if
Yeah.
you didn't want them to know. It was the delivery and the reaction that completely blew it for them. Like, if he had just been, "Yo, I saw seafood digging over here. We gotta look."
Yeah,
Like,
we didn't have time
he
to come
was
tell
just
you.
there.
Yeah.
We didn't yeah,
We
like,
were
if
actually
you
hoping you
sell
would
it
come up so that we could catch you out here. We couldn't go back to camp and tell I know, see, let us in the game. No, don't let me in the game, actually, I would be terrible.
Yeah, me too.
Mm.
Well, I
Do you
think
guys
being that
think
moment.
Jay?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Trent.
Do you guys think Jay Maya is going to put the 2 and 2 together? That the girls were lying to her as she was walking up,
She seemed to
and
buy
that
it.
Yeah, she seemed to buy it.
She seemed
She
to
doesn't.
like
She's
I
not.
don't know. What are you
Yeah,
gonna
she's
say?
not getting any airtime. You barely
Yeah.
hear from her. I mean, it's interesting. Maybe it's just because their tribe is so dominant and stuff that they're not. She's not.
it does open up an
getting time,
alliance
but
between Jay Maya and Sifu. If
Yeah.
right.
I mean, they were all sitting there, Julie, her, and Jay Maya, and they looked so dumbfounded. They were just staring out into the distance, and it was like the weirdest cutscene of the whole show. Was this Jay Maya sitting there like, "What's going on?" Like, I'm just like, man, what it? And Julie's like, hee, because she knows that the hammer is getting ran around, and like, well, they've got to come together. Like, I don't know, they got to put 2 and 2 brain cells together and figure out how to, maybe they're so ahead, obviously, in challenges and everything like that. Like, maybe they're just like, maybe it's just too much. It's just so much in their head about like, okay, well, we're gonna make it to merge. We're gonna make it past merge because they already know they're so far ahead. So I don't know how much that plays into the actual game.
Well, we'll see
course we
those
didn't get to see
dynamics.
that.
We'll see all
Yeah.
those dynamics and how they play out now that we know that there's a tribe swap. So, like, things are going to get mixed up and shaken up. And so we'll see how, like, we're going to see how each player does with their individual game. I think a lot more as we go into that, because it'll be like, okay, who from my tribe made it with me to this thing? Are we the minority? Are we the majority? How are we going, like, who are we going to work with and how are we going to work together? And
Yeah.
so it's like a brand new game when that happens, with just all you're bringing is a few breadcrumbs with you with that. So I think it can really change things a lot. And we'll see really how these players are playing together a lot better once they're once they have to change. Like, if we see Caleb and Emily apart from each other, I think Caleb is the only thing that reminds her that she has to pretend to be nice. And if Caleb's not there with her, I think she's going to implode. I don't think anybody, if it wasn't for Caleb, Emily would be gone, and nobody will see the advantages of having her around, because she'll revert right back, because it's, when you go into a new situation, it's hard to pretend to be somebody you're not. It's like you're just struggling to try to see the new dynamics and see everything that's happening, that you get so caught up in trying to see what's happening there, that you forget that you're trying to be the pretend nice person that you are. So I think if Caleb's not there to be her handler, we're gonna see her out the door pretty quick. That's just
Ooh. What reminds me is sorry, hold on one second. Is Julie calling out Caleb for getting information by calling out that was the best play of the game, the best way to go about the game. That says a lot about Julie with her introspection and her perception on what's going on in the game. Because really, yeah, she presents herself as the mom of the show, but I haven't really seen a lot of her strategy. So it's interesting now. Well, now she's seeing how the chessboard's moving, how the game gets played.
I was just going to say, I was thinking about what would Sifu's individual game look like? Could he ever be a driver of a vote? And I just think he's a little too, unruly or something. Like, people couldn't put their trust in him. He'll be like a support character. But I'm really seeing this is like almost an alpha female season, like Dee, Julie, Kendra, Kat. We haven't even talked about Kat. She hasn't got a lot of airtime, but these are very strong kind of women. And I feel like they would be, and even Emily, right? So that's why I think Emily could sneak in, is because some of these guys are a little bit too passive and they want somebody to lead, right? They want actually a figurehead to drive the vote. And then they're just all protecting their butts, right? Now, Caleb is kind of the exception on that. I don't think Jake is, kind of quick enough or could, get a lot of people together, but that's maybe to be seen too. Is maybe his accent, his thick Boston accent makes him sound a little bit, slower than he is, or like a little bit kind of funnier than he is, a little less serious. I mean, he's like, let's get a beer, he's like this really thick, so that may put him in this more like bro-y category when he's maybe a little bit more intelligent than he plays onto or appears to be. But what do you guys think about that? You guys think that these alpha females are going to take over the game? What are your thoughts on that?
I think they're playing great. I mean, I also think that people are, they get so blinded by the fact that Emily is a bit difficult, negative, paranoid. But if she has no pull, if she has no political stake in the game, if nobody's willing to listen to her, then she's not nearly as big of a threat as people make her out to be. And I see it, you see it all the time on Survivor, on Big Brother, even on the Challenge a bit with on MTV. It's like they might vote out someone that's annoying. And it's like that is not it. Honestly, Sabaya was a great move for them in a lot of ways, but you want to look at the person who's scheming and actually could get people to vote their way. Right now, Emily has, besides Caleb, nobody. And really, is Caleb going to go Emily's way? No, he's picking Emily and bringing her along because he sees that she'll be indebted to him and she'll vote his way. So I actually think targeting Emily is not necessarily the best move, but the tribe swap, someone was just saying in the comments how excited they are. I cannot wait. I love a good tribe swap. It's so interesting to see how some people who are on top are suddenly in the minority and scrambling. And I think it's going to really be great. This episode was so good. And what a great lead in to next week.
100%. I mean, tribe swaps, we look for merge, but I still love it when we get a tribe swap early so that we can see like how it shakes them up and how adaptable they are. That's where the true, like, you can start to get glimpses of who that like standout player is going to be. I think we're going to see Caleb do really, really well in a tribe swap. I think we're going to see Kelly do really well in a tribe swap. I think even if her and Brando get like separated, I think Kelly's really adaptable. I think she's got great situation awareness. I think she'll do really, really well. She's not super outspoken, but she has a lot of great, like, she's really thinking all the time. So I think she'll do really well. Who do you think will do the best at the tribe swap? Like, what are your top two?
I actually Drew is kind of he's kind of this underdog, and I think Caleb wanted to reach out to him because he does see Drew not as a partner, maybe like I think if they're on the same tribe, I think they're two going to go at it because they're both tall. I don't know why that plays into it, but they're both tall and they're both players. That's what Caleb said to Drew. He's like, I know you're a player, right? A strategic. He kind of looks like a Cochran kind of nerd player type, this archetypal player. But I hope that Drew can get over his thing and actually have some of the strategy that he's been bragging about, because it'd be cool to have some good players in the game. So I'm hoping for Drew. I think you're right though about Kelly. I think Kelly's playing one of the best games right now for sure.
Yeah. Kelly, and I'm still on team Kelly and Brando. I love that they're sitting in the middle of their tribe right now. I hope that they can make it through the tribe swap. I'm just like hoping the best for both of them. So that's my money's on them. And I think Emily comes out of it unscathed. Maybe I'm wrong and everybody can laugh at me next week on next week's episode, but I don't think it's Emily going next week. Don't get rid of her yet. Plus, she's the kind of person that's going to piss enough people off that don't get rid of her. Okay, I'm really hoping. I'm kind of like, I know Bree's not buying it. I'm kind of like, maybe she can change out there.
I think they go after a big player when the tribe swaps happen.
Yeah, you should.
You got to take big swings. Yes, somebody before anyone that's a physical dominant player. That's because when you get to merge, they're going to do that. They don't have the alliances or the loyalty, I should say. When we do a tribe swap, you could. The big players could end up in the minority really quickly, and they the strongest of the bunch should be the next target, because that's who you want to get rid of, because you don't want to go up against them when we go to the merge and individual immunity. I mean, once the tribe swap happens, you have to start thinking merge. and you have to start thinking, how do I knock these players out while I still can, before they start just winning every week. So
yeah, winning out. I
So,
know.
forgive me for to remind the dynamic. So, at Tribe Swap, everyone gets moved into Lulu, one from Reba, one from Bello get moved into the Lulu tribe. Do they drop their buffs and create a new tribe?
they all drop
How
their
does that
buffs.
dynamic work?
Yeah.
They all
Everyone
drop
drops
their
their buffs.
buffs. They all pick from wrapped. Like the buffs are wrapped so you can't see what color they are, and you just pick one. It's all random. So everybody can be moved around in any direction, and it will go from 3 tribes to 2. I don't know if Lulu will be one of them will be no more. One of them we will get rid of, the one of the tribes names. So there'll only be 2 tribes after this. I think. I mean, we could still see. It's just would make such small tribes if we did 3. I'm hoping they just do 2. That would make a lot more sense.
I thought they said that they would send their weakest link from each tribe to the other tribe, in this tribe swap, or is it a full on everyone's dropping their buffs?
He said everybody drop your buffs, so
Yeah.
it'll be a full.
And then they'll go
It'll
to
be
2,
a
yeah.
full, yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say too, pretty incredible that Yellow Team Lulu still has not had Flint. I mean, the
I
entire time
know.
out
I
there, and they
know.
still, I mean, they haven't had
How is
fire
that
the entire
happening?
time. I mean, that's wild. That's pretty crazy.
Well, they'll get Flint now because they're not gonna. I don't know if that'll change up how they'll do that. We could talk about this forever. I know we got so many great comments.
Mhm.
Y'all can vote on who you want to get kicked off next episode. 100% need buffs, by the way. Yeah, I know we do. We're working on it. We're working on it. Gina, write them another email. Send them, we need buffs.
I know. We're trying. We're trying.
Yeah, we know people. We're just waiting. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're new. Be kind to us.
And Johanna in the chat said, Drew definitely isn't as big of a player as Caleb, and yeah, 100%. But it could be a situation like with Caleb and Sabaya, right, where Caleb overestimates. He overestimates what he thinks and how likable he is, and then kind of has an oversight. Thinks, oh, Drew, easy target, right? Nobody likes Drew. Everybody likes me. And then Drew, just because he's pretty cunning, he's pretty cunning guy. Maybe they use Austin's idol or something like that. That's another thing. If Austin goes to a new tribe and is on the outs, is he quick enough? He's kind of a little, whoa, dude. He's kind of a little bit like that. I don't know if he's perceptive enough to say, hey, I'm going to use my idol. Right. And Gina, you said this. How many people are going home with idols in their pockets? I'm watching Survivor. Yeah, I'm watching Survivor Australia with King George. He used his idol preemptively, and he didn't need to, but he's a quick player, and he's he's one of the best players out ever. He uses it even if he doesn't necessarily absolutely 100% is totally sure. So I think people should take more of a play from George and use the idols, because there's so many people go home with them in their pockets now.
Yeah, really.
Incredible.
And I think there's a real clear line this season of people playing too hard and people really flying under the radar. But so many people are playing, I think, too hard, too fast. Look at show it.
All right.
Yeah, too hard.
Alex, you're holding out on us, man. What's up?
Yeah, really. Like, why are they doing this? Is it
why
because
aren't you wearing it?
Yeah, why aren't you wearing it? Put it on like Brando.
Yeah, put it on like Brando.
Yeah, now you look legit. But yeah, why are people playing too hard, too fast? It's like they're paranoid. They don't want to be one of the first people out. They at least want to make it to merge. They want to make it to jury. They want to be one of, viewers' favorites. They're hoping that they'll get back, asked back for future seasons. They're hoping that they may end up on The Amazing Race. Like there's all these other factors going on. I feel like so many people try to come out the gate and they're just like running around, digging in bushes, trying to take out big threats. Like, I mean, I don't like there's not a whole lot of middle ground players. It's either like all or nothing with everyone. But then again, like Trent said, we're not seeing everything that's happening at camp, so we don't really know. But yeah, this is the season of so many people coming out the gate like, whoa, like, they're playing like it's day 28 and it's like day 3.
Yeah. And when Alex said that stuff about Australian Survivor the last season, heroes versus villains, I totally want to see some of those things happening. There were like sneaky things going on between tribes at challenges, right? Like information being whispered to each other, idols or or coins or whatever that was being like things being passed to like people. I want to like that was the coolest thing ever. I want to see this. I want to see these guys doing some fun stuff like that because when we get this tribe swap, like you said, Drew like has advantages. Austin has an idol. Are we going to see like they lose and Drew looks at Austin, man, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. Help me out, man. Give me that idol. Like, are we going to see things like that happening? I want to see it. I'm there for all of it. I could talk about this forever, but we got to get to Jeff. We've got to get to our very, very favorite water boy, which I adore and love. How did Jeff do this on our torch scale? How did we like Jeff this episode? Gina, go.
Well, didn't you guys say he was a little bit hoarse this episode? His voice was out.
Yeah, he yells.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Gina.
Yeah, I mean, I've been given 5 torches, but this week it was a little bit passive for me. Like, just, I don't know, with Sabaya, he was just like, okay, like, I guess that's what you're doing, you know? I don't know. It just, that I was excited to see what would happen with Tribal because I really didn't know if it was going to be, you know, Caleb, Sabaya, Emily. I was like, who's going? But yeah, I felt like he was a little bit more passive today. Wasn't giving me as many great or last night. Not as many great play-by-play quips that make me laugh. 4 torches. I feel bad because I'm usually a Jeff stan. 4.
All right. What about you, Alex?
Well, I think I'll base my rating off of his reaction to Sabaya putting the idol in the fire. I mean, he acted like he's like brand new to the show. He's like, well, what are you doing here? You know, like, but I guess it's never been done before. So it was maybe a curious thing from his perspective too, for her to just do it right in front of the tribe.
Right.
And then, so yeah, I thought he had kind of an interesting reaction to Sabaya throwing it in the fire, but I'll still give him 5. I'm a Jeff stan too. So
What about you, Trent?
Yeah, I give him 4. 4 torches. You know, he's got a catchphrase that he starts the show off with. All right, and it's like I hadn't recognized it. Obviously, I'm coming back to watch the show again, and I think that toward the end, he sounds like he might be like going through a little bit under the weather or something, going through something, and so maybe he couldn't come as strong in the tribal council. But throughout the show, he seemed all right. He seemed like he called the rewards challenge pretty actively. Maybe he didn't call the immunity challenge as actively but he got into it towards the puzzle, because I think he could have done a lot more with the cart. Oh, they're struggling with the cart or something like that, being like, real active with that. He didn't really do that. He was active with the poll by saying like Lulu can't get the ring off, but then they ended up getting the ring off. So I mean, he definitely shines when he's most active in the challenges, play by play, call, action, and so when he misses something, I think that's what kind of like brought that down, that performance level down on this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I love this question. What do you think people whisper in his ear as they leave? Like that would be fun to like be able to do that. Like, what would you say?
You think they're like, meet me at Ponderosa?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, what are they saying?
Bring me back another season.
Don't forget me on Heroes versus Villains. Call me for All Stars.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was interesting because last week when Nina was on, she was talking about how when they leave, right? So then they go to the doctor and they get all the stuff and they have to do this exit interviews and all these different things. And it takes a while. And so she said it was like, what, an hour and a half that she'd been standing around doing stuff. It was dark. It's at night, whatever. And this guy walks up and he's like, hey, you did a really great job. Not really realizing that it was Jonathan. So like JLP is standing there talking to her and she was floored by that. So like, maybe you do once in a while get a little extra time with the Jeff Master in the back. Like, I don't know.
That's so funny.
You never know.
I do always wonder about what Jeff's accommodations are like. Does he have this palatial suite, or what's his living situation? Because he's out there, pretty full time. So
oh yeah, he's got to have a beautiful place.
Oh, I'm sure. And have you seen
his ass?
Imagine CBS would be like, we'd like to speak to you.
Yes.
If you don't mind stepping this way. Yeah, I would imagine his arrangements are really nice. And actually, on
Oh yeah.
Survivor's TikTok, they've been showing a little behind the scenes of the crew, which I thought was really interesting, setting up for challenges and what life is like. And in the past, they've done that as well. But I always find that so interesting as well, just what life is like for them. I'm sure Jeff is not struggling for coconuts out there.
No way.
Imagine.
He's got an infinity edge pool.
Yeah.
He's got
Yeah, he's
all the.
overlooking.
He's got an
Yeah.
outdoor barbecue.
Yeah,
He's got
yeah.
the full setup.
Yeah, cleaning service.
When you're voted off,
cook.
you get welcomed into Jeff's mansion.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
all right,
exactly.
that's right. You'll be in
Fresh
Jeff's
towels.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, spa days every day.
Yeah. Hot
Nice little
tub.
catering, a little,
Yeah.
hot tub. Oh yeah.
Sauna, yeah.
We'll have to get a Jeff by
Yeah, we need to find out.
the cabana.
This is Paradise Island.
Jeff. Well, we'll get a new one made and get a cabana Jeff to
funny.
put up next time. I'm sure he has a palatial place. I mean, it's not going to be
Yeah.
it's not going to be top of the I'm sure it's everything he needs and wants because he is working and he is there longer than anybody else, right? Except for crew, like he's there for 2 seasons that he's filming. And so yeah, and it's nice that they keep going back to Fiji. Where would you like to see the next one be? What would be like a good location?
Tahiti.
Mm-hmm. I've always thought I liked, when it was out, the Australian outback, just because it was so different. You know how they had to like build the brush around it, to like create, prevent from lions. I've always said, why don't they do like a winter one? But then you can't have, your naked body out there on, national TV. So I don't know if they'll ever do that. So they need some skin to show, for TV.
Naked and Afraid.
Yeah, Naked and Afraid. Yeah. But yeah, I'd like to see somewhere out of like the Polynesian islands. They just do the same. Yeah, out of it, just somewhere different. It could be South Africa, it could be, something like that. But they're pretty committed to Fiji, Samoan Islands, those type of places.
Yeah.
And it is kind of like
St.
the
Lucia
show
or anything
now.
like that.
No, I don't think so. It is like, when you see Survivor, because there's other reality shows out there that have similar formats, but when you see Survivor, it's Survivor. And if they were to go to a different location, you might lose that kind of recognition or that branding. So there might be.
No, they're not, Trevor. They're not coming to Duluth. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're not coming anywhere near us. I would love to see something a little bit more challenging. I don't mind it being in an island, but I want it to be like, I love the days of old where we got to see the area more. So like the rewards were like go into a village and they would partake and see like what's happening in that area. And maybe sure it's a lot of it might be put on for cameras and things like that, but you get to see the people and the culture and a little bit of, so I would really like to see a little bit more. I want to see that kind of thing happening, especially if we're going to go with 90 minutes. We're going to run out of time, but I have to say this was the first episode so far this season that I felt like I got extra. Like that 90 minutes, I was like, damn, like I really feel like I got extra this time.
It flew by. I think the reward challenge definitely helped, and that was great to see. That's something I've always liked in previous seasons, was having the 2 challenges. So that was really fun. I agree. I felt like it was jam-packed with stuff and it wasn't like trying to fill 90 minutes. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is flying by. It was
like
a great
really like I realized it at some point, like, wow, we still have like an immunity challenge and a tribal. And, like there's still more to come. Like it's not the end yet. And I just felt like I was getting so much more finally. So I really love that. I didn't call this out last week, but this really pissed me off. I'm sorry. For all the rap people out there, Rob has a podcast, Rob Cesternino. I was really pissed when I saw him do a short and he was talking about the reason that CBS decided to ask Survivor to do 90-minute episodes is because the actors are on strike. And I was pissed. Like it immediately made me start to hit Google. I'm like, I know that's not right. And so I went and looked it up, and that CBS gave them the green light last October, that it took 6 months of planning to make sure they could do that. And they don't have the green light on the next season, but they filmed it like they possibly could, but
Mm.
also might not, right? So we got that like weird thing that'll happen. So I think it's really interesting, but I was really pissed that because like rap is kind of reputable. He's obviously played a bunch of times and gets all the top people on it and all this stuff. That was a lie, Rob. You lied and I'm pissed about it. So I had to say it. I had to call his ass out on that.
Maybe he
Like,
was jumping to conclusions because Amazing Race was moving to 90 minutes and like because of the strike, there's so many game shows. All the game shows in America are coming out. It was
at prime
Lotteria
time, yeah.
Loca. There's like the
Oh,
one
yeah.
that's like there's the one that's like it's like get in, get out. It's like something about like a heist or a
Yep.
case or something. I keep seeing all the commercials when I'm watching, and I think he just jumped to conclusions. But I agree with Bree. I also was reading that Jeff had been pitching the 90-minute episodes for quite some time. So this was already on the agenda. Maybe the strike helped it happen, but this has already been a plan. And so
Yeah.
get him,
Well, it
get
makes
him,
sense
Bree.
One-
too because they were cutting out the immunity challenges.
Yeah.
They were trying to
reward
cram
ones?
it
The
in.
reward-
I'm sorry, the reward ones. They were cutting out the reward ones and they were combining them. I didn't like that. I like the separate. But you mentioned Amazing Race. They did extend it 90 minutes, and last night's episode was so boring. I mean, it should have been an hour. So it makes sense for
Mhm.
Survivor, but for Amazing Race, last night was
Yeah.
like drudgery. But go ahead, Trent. Sorry.
One thing we forgot: Emily has a shot in the dark still
Mhm.
because Sabaya gave it back to her before Sabaya got kicked off. So like help me understand. So what does that mean for her? Because that once the tribe swap happens, that she'll take that with her, and that'll be a new 6 people that she could possibly, not get voted out by if she played the shot in the dark. Is that how that works? How does that
The
work?
shot in the dark is a dice that you get, and when you feel like you're going to be voted off on tribal, you can roll the shot in the dark, and you have a 1 in 6
Yeah.
chance at getting an immunity idol for that tribal council, just for that tribal council. But you also lose your vote, so you can't vote if you do your shot in the dark. So it's like for absolute desperation situation, right? So it's only been
better get a
successfully.
Monopoly.
Sure, but yeah.
It's only been successfully played one time. I think the other 4 or 5 times it's been played, they've just gotten voted out, I believe.
So she'll probably well, maybe she gives it to Sean because
I don't
Sean's
think
the
you can give your
weakest
shot
link.
in the dark to a different person. I think everybody gets.
Well,
one.
she gave it to Sabaya.
But to
Well, she
hold
can
for
hold on
her.
to it. She
Can't
can't
play
use
it,
it.
is that what you're
though.
saying?
Everybody
She can't
gets a
play
shot in the dark. Everybody has a shot in the dark.
Oh,
Yeah, everybody gets one. They can only and it's you give up your vote, which is a big deal, especially as the numbers get smaller. Your vote becomes even more powerful. So I don't know. I honestly don't see Emily ever playing her shot in the dark. I think that's the only reason she gave it so willingly to here, you hold this for me. This proves that, because I don't think she'd play it. I just don't think that's in her. Like it's like a gamble kind of
okay, I
a.
understand.
I don't see her doing that. I don't think she would. So yeah.
It's very rare that the shot.
So
in the
is that
dark,
another
I
one of
think,
those
is the right
things you just want to
decision.
play? So if you don't have a vote, can you still play it?
Play the shot in the dark?
Yeah.
I think you're.
So let's say you don't have a vote.
When you
you
play
don't-
your. Oh, I see what you mean. So like Austin, for example, Austin has that
Yeah.
immunity idol. Could he play it? I mean, possibly. I know all these different.
And so wouldn't you
challenges
wanna
and these
play that as
idols
soon as
and stuff.
possible?
There's like you got to read the fine print on all these things. No, you wouldn't want to play it as soon as possible, unless you
Well,
feel
if
like
you-
you're going to be voted out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you have no vote, you feel like you're going to get voted out, you want to play that as soon as possible. And so, like, Sabaya was just, wow. She just missed it.
Sabaya would want to play her idol, instead of her shot in the dark.
That's a
right?
guarantee.
No, yeah, in that case, but yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, we'll see if any shots in the dark are played this season. I don't think there's been one yet, but I think as the game progresses, like you said, Brie, it's less and less advantageous. I think when you're at the very beginning and you have this big tribe, this big alliance, like Emily at the beginning, maybe should have thought about it, but she, kind of skated through. So I think at the beginning, when you're like complete, like Bruce, for example, if he had the 100% inclination that he was going home on his tribe, he would. I think it makes sense for him to play it. But anybody else who's like kind of on the fence, it'd be hard to justify it, losing your vote.
For
Oh, it
sure.
has been 3. Yeah, it's been. Yeah, I mean, Lulu losing 3 times. On the second time, everyone should have done their shot in the dark,
Mhm.
because everyone should have just rolled just to see if they hit. Because if they hit, it could just mess up the whole show. Obviously, everyone hits, and then they have to. Would they hold everyone? I mean, it would be an interesting game to
They've
see
had
everyone
some
have.
weird stuff happen where there was like only person that could be voted out was the one person,
Right.
because everyone either had idols or immunities or whatever. Like there was all different kinds of things. So the
Yeah,
one person went home, and so it happens where there's some really strange thing that's going to go on. I don't think people usually aren't thinking about their shot in the dark unless they're like 100% sure I'm going to go home. I know that it's written in, it's going to happen. And usually it's because they've screwed up and been
Mhm.
caught in something
Mhm.
that's like, I can't get beyond that. And so I know I'm going to go home. So I'm going to do this. Otherwise, they won't play it. Any changes to our lineup of who we think is going to make that final three? Are we sticking with who we've got? Did somebody have Sabaya as a choice?
I think I did. Yeah, I think
No.
I did.
Trent's Pick'ems. No.
Um, yeah, it's tougher now, to say. I think I had. I can't remember entirely. Who I picked, but I know I had Sabaya on the top. I think I had maybe Bruce in there, and I think other than that, I got to Drew. But now I think that the alliances have changed up. So I think now probably Caleb goes in and gets positioned in the middle, probably because he's kind of like on the outside. Everybody kind of like thinks that he's okay guy. Bruce nobody likes, so you kind of probably get rid of him. Um, it's hard to say. I think this might be what Alex said. Maybe this is an all female cast at the end. They get rid of all the guys. It's all females till the end, and that really is going to be up to is it Kelly? Kelly's in there, so she's holding up the middle of the pack. So Drew, Kelly, I think are really strong still. And then last, probably Jake or Seafood. They just haven't, they're strong dudes. If we pick one guy, yeah, I don't know. Probably
Seafood's yet to be seen.
probably
Yeah.
Seafood. Yeah, Seafood's there.
What about you, Gina? What do you think?
I mean, I'm still, like I said, I'm still rooting for Kelly and Brando, and maybe it's those two, and then they decide who's gonna come, third with them. And, I mean, maybe it is someone like Emily or Bruce who, aren't gonna have the social game necessarily on their side. Although people do seem, Bruce is very polarizing. They either love him or hate him. I think the Calebs, the Austins, they're gonna get targeted. You have to see the big picture with them and see if you let them get to the point where individual immunity's on the line, those two could easily win out to the end. So, I mean, maybe Mama Julie makes it far. She's definitely playing a good game. Dee's really smart as well. Like Alex was saying, the women are playing really smart games right now, mostly. So I'm interested to see what happens.
100%. Alex?
Yeah, I definitely think Kelly. I think there's a lot to be seen from Kat. Remember, nobody knows she's an attorney, right? She played pretty well on that. She just hasn't got a lot of airtime. Caleb could definitely sneak through, but I'm definitely gonna go with Kelly. I picked Brando last week. He's off my list. I think Kelly, has him on a tight leash. Kelly, Julie, and I'm gonna go with Dee too. Dee has been my kind of number one from the beginning, and I think she gets better
Right,
every
yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
What about you, Brie?
I had Caleb. I think after what we saw this week with Caleb and his salesman equality and them calling him a player and just how physically strong he is and how acute he is, like he is so spot on with people and reading people. And the fact that he really did listen to Emily when she said they're coming for you, because we see people make mistakes at that point when they're given that crossroads of I'm telling you something and it's really true. It happened so many
Yes.
times in the past where people have come, I'm telling you the truth and this is really happening and you need to listen to me, and they don't, and then it bites them in the ass. I
Yeah.
think Caleb was like, I'm not making that mistake. And Emily's been true. I'm going to like listen to what she's saying and I get this. So I think that was really, really crucial. And so Caleb would not be one that I would want to see at the final sit next to me at all. He is really showing his like cards that he is so tough and strong and smart that I wouldn't bring him, honestly. But I do still like Brando and I still like Mama Julie. So I would maybe put Kat in that mix because she's doing the thing she needs to do it, but doing it on much more on the slide. So that's kind of where I see all that from. But I know we got to roll. Thank you guys all for being here. I can't wait till next week. Tribe swap.
Let's go. I'm
Let's
excited to
do it.
see.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys. Thanks for being here, Coach and Trevor and all the people that hopped in. There was a lot of people in the day, and I can't remember everybody, but Joanna was here. Bobby was here. Trevor was on a couple different things, but it was awesome. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.